Hey everybody, my name is Rob Drenning, physical therapist. In this video, I'm going to show you the key to getting rid of that stubborn tennis elbow pain. And the secret is, it's got nothing to do with the elbow. Or that's almost true, almost nothing to do with the elbow. If you've ever had tennis elbow, you know it's stubborn, it's irritable, everything flares it up. Anytime you're using your hands, it drives that tendon to become more and more painful. And most of the time, you're given the wrong exercises to do by a lot of other videos, a lot of PTs. They'll tell you to stretch your forearm, to do weightlifting and wrist curls, or hold the weight and drop it down. All of those things are not addressing the problem appropriately, and all of those things, in many cases, are not going to help your tennis elbow. So if you've tried those and they haven't worked for you, then you're in the right place. So let's go over a really quick anatomy review. Tennis elbow is pain on the tendon on the outside of your elbow. All of these forearm muscles here, they all come together and form one tendon that attaches right there. So it's a bunch of muscles all pulling on the same spot. It's real prone to getting overused and irritated. More common in tennis players, hence the name tennis elbow. Okay, now that we're past the anatomy, we need to go over the next important thing. With any injury, there are two key factors. One is what's painful. That's obvious here. The what is the tendon that we just talked about. That's the thing that's irritated. We always want to know that. What's the irritated thing? And two, and most importantly, this is the key here, is what's causing that thing to be painful in the first place. And in the case of tennis elbow, it's very rarely caused by the tendon itself. Most of the time, it's caused by two other things that are contributing to it, and that's stability and muscle activation in the shoulder and even your mid-back. The more stable the shoulder is, the less work your elbow has to do with anything, especially a racket sport where your whole arm is involved. And the second thing that's involved in perpetuating that nagging elbow pain is the nerve that runs right through that area. That also gets very sensitive, and that can give you that aching pain in the whole forearm, just that throbby kind of feel. So those are two keys that if we're not addressing those underlying causes to the elbow pain, it's never actually going to go away, or you'll just find short-term relief, short-term relief, short-term relief. I hope that makes sense. That's what I'm going to show you in this video. So let's go check out these exercises now. Okay, exercise 1. These first ones that we're going to go through are targeting the shoulder. The better we work the shoulder, the less pressure goes on the elbow. We just talked about that. It's the underlying cause of the elbow being irritated. So the first one's called bilateral external rotation. I have a resistance band here. I use these a lot because they're cheap, they're portable, they're easy to do. So you can get them for super cheap anywhere on Amazon. If you don't have them, you can also use a towel. So I'll show you both ways. And what we want to do is holding the band. All of these need to be pain-free in your elbow. So your hand position can sometimes affect that. Typically, we'll start thumbs up. And what you're going to do is just rotate both hands to the side and squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back. I'm keeping my elbows in against me. I'm not pushing out like that. I'm keeping everything in, and I'm just turning my hands, squeezing the shoulder blades. If that's painful, you can go palms down, palms up. Typically, one of those varieties will be comfortable in your elbow. That won't matter. So just find the position of your hand that's the most comfortable for you. If squeezing it is hard, you can just wrap it around your wrists, and then your fingers can be relaxed that way. I'm just holding with my thumb. If you don't have a band or don't want to get a band, you can take a kitchen towel just like this, and you're going to do the same motion, but obviously the towel isn't going to stretch. So there's not going to be movement with it, but the same activation. You're going to push out into the towel and squeeze the shoulder blades. Just like that. If you're doing this with the towel, just hold it for a few seconds and then relax. And you're going to shoot for 20 to 30 reps of this along with all of these exercises. So that's the first one, bilateral external rotation. Okay, the next shoulder exercise is called horizontal abduction. I'm going to use a band again, but I'll also show you how to do it with a towel in case you don't have these or don't want to get them. So what we're going to do is both arms are going to be straight out in front of you, and your hand position doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable for your elbow. We'll start thumbs up, but you can be thumbs in, you can be thumbs out. Whatever is less painful here, this has to be pain-free. So I'm going to wrap it around my wrist because most people feel that that's pretty comfortable because you can relax the fingers. And then let's say this side is painful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out to the side and squeeze my wing bones back together. That's the key for that one, is squeezing those shoulder blades. Arm goes out to the side and squeeze. Now we want to do the painful side for sure. You can do the other side. I'm a big fan of symmetry, definitely, but if you're short on time, at least do that painful side. Okay? Changing your hand position to keep it comfortable. You don't have to be all the way out to the end like that. Just get a little tension on there. Squeeze the shoulder blade. 20 to 30 reps, just like the other exercises. Now, if you don't have a band, you take your towel, and you don't want your hands just in front of you. You want a towel long enough so that your arms are out kind of at an angle. So about like this or even longer. And you're just going to do that same motion. You're going to put tension in the towel and squeeze the shoulder blades. And relax. You're going to hold it for a few seconds, enough time that you would be simulating that amount of time that it takes to do that motion. Just a few seconds. And then relax. So there's no movement with it because the towel won't stretch, but that's an alternative if you don't have a band. Okay, the next shoulder exercise is called a resisted wall slide. So I'm going to show you a band variety and a towel variety in case you don't have the band at home. But my preference is the band if you do. So what we're going to do is you're going to take the band and you're going to hold it like this, or you can wrap it around your wrists to relax your fingers. And then we're going to have your hands with the karate chop position against the wall. And we're just going to slide your arms up and down the wall, just like that. So I'm going to turn my back to you to show you. I'm going to put tension in the band, and I'm going to slide my hands up the wall, just like that. Now, if your forearms are on the wall, it just makes it a little more awkward. That's okay too, but you just want your hands as the part sliding up and down the wall. That's going to allow it to be more of a natural motion. And how much or how little tension you put on there won't matter. It's just your shoulder will get fatigued. So you just want kind of a moderate amount, and you're going to slide up and down the wall with your hands on the wall for 20 to 30 reps, just like the other exercises. Okay, exercise number 4. We've done the 3 for the shoulder. We also don't want to forget about the first part of the injury, the what, the thing that's actually irritated. This tendon does need to be built back up. But we have to do that in a way that's comfortable and pain-free. And we do that with what's called an isometric exercise. So what that means is we're contracting these tendons, but without movement. These wrist curls that a lot of people will have you do has movement in there, and that can irritate that tendon. So what we want to start with is just a grip that's pain-free. That's the key. You can squeeze a towel, you can squeeze nothing, it doesn't matter. But you're going to start with your elbow bent, and you're just going to make a fist. And you're going to hold that for 10 seconds. And then you're going to relax, and you're going to do that 10 times. You can squeeze as hard as you want, but it has to be pain-free. The harder the better, as long as it's comfortable. If you can squeeze pretty hard here, you can progress that by straightening your elbow and squeezing in this position. That's a little more irritable. Remember, it's got to be pain-free. If you're doing that even gently and it hurts, come back in here. If your elbow is real upset, you can do even a real light squeeze, almost like you're just going to hold a feather in your hand. As long as it's comfortable and pain-free, this is an exercise that's going to start to rebuild that tendon itself without the movement that can cause irritation. If this hurts, even with light grip, it's too soon. Just focus on the shoulder exercises. Okay, the 5th and final exercise, and in my opinion, the most important one to get lasting relief for your tennis elbow, is to address the nerve. And it's the radial nerve that goes there. That's what it's called. And what we're going to do is called a nerve slider. Nerves are kind of like babies. They like to be rocked. And if you do that, they'll calm down and stop sending as many pain signals. So that's what we're going to do for the radial nerve. This has to be pain-free. If it hurts you at all, don't do it. Just focus on the shoulder ones. But when you can add it, it's really a game changer. So what we're going to do is you're just going to start with your hand down at your side. And then you're going to reach your palm back like that. I'll turn a little bit so you can see. You're going to reach your palm back, and you're going to look to that side, just like that. That movement has to be comfortable. If it's too much stretch, if it's painful, then bend the elbow a little bit and see if you can do that. But you're just bending the wrist down in that motion at the same time as you turn your head. Wrist comes back as your head comes back. If your arm's straight, it's almost like you're looking behind you and someone's going to pass you something. That's how I think about it. Your fingers go back as your neck moves, and then when your wrist relaxes, your head relaxes. You're going to do that 20 to 30 repetitions. Okay, if neck issues are limiting your doing that, an alternative is you bend your wrist back, but you bend your elbow at the same time. And then you extend the elbow that way. Bend the elbow, drop your fingers, let your wrist come back to the middle as you straighten your elbow. You just do that motion. All of these, though, have to be pain-free. If either of these two are uncomfortable, then you don't want to do it. And when you're doing this alternative, you can keep your neck relaxed, whatever is easier for you. But it's the same as the other one, 20 to 30 repetitions. Now, with this whole group of things, we want to be doing these once a day, or if you do them and immediately it feels like it's helping, do them twice a day. That's okay too. But if you can get them at least once a day, that's a starting point. So these are going to address more issues than just the elbow, the what that's irritated, and the underlying root cause. That's what's going to really get your elbow pain to go away. If you like this, you can check out some of these other videos for more non-traditional pain relief tips and exercises and things that you can do at home. You can click on my picture to subscribe.